All right, well, a lifelong pro-life activist, Melanie Garcia Lyon, is the executive director and co-founder of Voices for Life. Let's give her a round of applause. Her organization and Melanie fight for abortion on the front line. I mean, really on the front line. And she does this throughout Indiana. Melanie leads sidewalk advocacy, door-to-door outreach, and monitoring all these efforts for the preborn throughout Indiana. Let's give another round of applause for Voices for Life and for Melanie.
Thank you, Vicki. Real quick, I want to also acknowledge two board members that we have in the room, Trent Reichley and Benjamin Horvath, who's our vice president. I'm really excited to be here tonight for the generosity of CUP and to share about Voices for Life. As Vicki said, we focus on frontline activism to end abortion in Indiana. We lead sidewalk advocacy efforts throughout the state, and we have pro-life door-to-door outreach. We've hit about 10,000 doors, both starting conversations with people about abortion and sharing local life-affirming resources so that no woman feels like she needs to seek out an abortion. What we're here to talk about tonight, though, is our monitoring and enforcement efforts. What we have here is a stack of terminated pregnancy reports. So we request these from the Indiana Department of Health. A TPR is a document that an abortionist has to submit for every single abortion that he or she performs. I was talking to somebody here, and they asked if these were for all the abortions in 1 year in Indiana. This was just about for a month. So imagine 9,000 of these. That's how many abortions were happening in Indiana before we had our abortion ban go into effect. So each one of these documents represents one baby who was cruelly murdered here in Indiana. So what our team does is we go through these documents and we review them really, really closely and look for illegal activity. So you can identify from these documents things like a mother dying from an abortion. We've seen that happen. Babies born alive from botched abortions. We've seen that happen 5 times in the past couple years. Abortions on minors going unreported to DCS. Various forms of complications, abortions happening at unlicensed facilities. We've submitted complaints about 701 instances of apparent illegal activity in the Indiana abortion industry over the past 2 years. So we were submitting a lot of these. Once we identify a complaint, we submit a complaint to both the health department and the attorney general to trigger an investigation with the goal of getting these facilities shut down and licenses removed from these doctors. You can go on our website, voicesforlife.com. We have a list of every single violation that we have identified and also a list of the doctor that it's tied to. The health department is not happy with our enforcement work. In August of last year, they told us they were no longer going to provide these terminated pregnancy reports in order to protect these dangerous abortion doctors so that they can essentially do whatever they want. And also, without access to this data, no enforcement is possible. There's no justice for these doctors, and we can't see if our new abortion ban, which went into effect in August of last year, whether that is really, whether it's really effective, whether it's really being followed. So in May of this year, we filed a lawsuit against the Indiana Department of Health with the Thomas More Society, asking that these documents be released to the public as they have been since the 1970s. And oral arguments for that case will begin on September 6th. We had 2 abortionists. Does anyone know Caitlin Bernard, Dr. Caitlin Bernard? Raise your hand. She was the abortionist that did the abortion on the 10-year-old girl from Ohio, and she shared her story with a reporter, which resulted in the girl being identified and video cameras showing up on this girl's doorstep because of this story. She was disciplined by the medical licensing board, but she has joined this case with the health department. So we're up against both a health department that doesn't want to enforce the law and abortionists that have a history of violating the law. Now, last year when we were making our budget as an organization, we did not anticipate a lawsuit. We've got a lot of other activities going on, 140 volunteers, 2 paid staff, 1 volunteer program coordinator. But This is our number one priority, getting this information. And working with the Thomas More Society has helped defray a lot of the cost of the lawsuit, but it's still taken a huge amount of staff time and effort and resources to move forward with this. So I ask that, I know they're going to pass a plate around, that you please give generously tonight. We really, really need the support, especially ahead of this lawsuit. And in addition to giving, you can pray. So please pray on September 6th that the judge rules in our favor, and that we are able to continue to do this monitoring and enforcement work and hold these abortionists accountable for violating the law, and hopefully end abortion in Indiana once and for all. Thank you.